pleasant time to all of you. Again, this is Dr. Gonzalez, your learning partner on ChaSpeaks. For today, I would like to have a talk with you on how to help our students do their best in school, either on a face-to-face or online classes. But before I continue, if you are new in this channel, please like, subscribe, and share my videos on ChaSpeaks. Getting the best work from your student is at the core of great teaching and learning. Common strategies for getting the best work from students focus on extrinsic motivation and gamification, giving them points, grades, badges, certificates, stars, trophies, glowing feedback, encouragement, pep talks, pressure, and other ways to motivate our students. Today, I'm sharing some tips for getting the best work from our students that allow them to do their best and love learning. Some are obvious, and many you may know them already. The idea here is to clarify the kinds of teaching practices and learning strategies that give your students the best chance to do their best, to consistently do their very best work, and grow the most as students over the course of the school year, especially in online classes. Here are some 18 tips for your students to help them do their best and start loving learning. Okay, number one, give them authentic voice and choice. To get the best work from students, authentic voice and choice matter, and a big part of this is leaving room for interpretation in their classes. Those gray areas can confuse students unaccustomed to agency and choice. But once they become comfortable with it, it can be a significant factor in helping them to show what their best actually is. At the end of the day, students can't become great by duplicating your thinking and fulfilling your sense of priority. It, it has to not just involve them, but depend on their own genius and effort. Second, or number two, help them see what they are doing and why. To get the best work from students, help them see. See what they are doing and why. See what others have done and how. See what's possible. Help them see what's possible in their classes and assignment and how the work can benefit them, and most crucially, that they are capable of doing that important work and that you're there for them when they need help. Number three, help them create their own standards for quality. They won't naturally know how to do this in their earlier academic work, but do it constantly in how they dress, speak to one another, play games, interact socially, and so on, even in an online classes. To get the best academic work from a student, ideally they will learn to create their own standards for quality academic work, ideally alongside with you as their teacher. Rubrics and scoring guides can help them as well to create their own standards for quality. Number four, start and end their genius and gifts. And this include the gifts and resources from their family. For example, baking if they own a bakery shop, construction if their family members are engineers, planting if they own a farm or their family is a farmer, and entrepreneurship or their family is an entrepreneur. Number five, revisit old work. keep a portfolio of their best work, physical or digital or both, public and social or private, and just between you and them. Then use these bits and pieces to identify the gaps, find inspiration, pivot for new applications, or simply improve in terms of quality, accuracy, and so on. Number six, let them see expert models. If they're building a bridge, to get the best from them, help them see expert for bridge building engineers. If they're going to sing or paint or write or act or excavate or farm, let them see what the most passionate, driven, and skilled people in those fields do and how, then help them do it too. Number seven, give them personalized feedback. Personalized feedback means the right feedback at the right time, in the format, tone, and duration that works for the students. Whether they are taking a test, finishing a project, or doing something entirely out of the box, the more precise, well timed, and thoughtful learning feedback, the better chance they have to do their best work. Giving learning feedback is easy, but giving learning feedback that actually improves student work is another thing entirely. Number eight, teach diagnostically. Think cause and effect. When they don't understand the assignment, which is the cause, they don't ask the right question about the assignment that will help them. That's the effect. When they have too much work in other classes, that's the cause, they rush their work and prone to errors and don't show much vision or creativity in what they do. That's the effect. So you have to think in terms of causes and effect, sometimes through a kind of diagnostic teaching. Number nine, clarify and emphasize the purpose. If they don't know exactly what they are doing and why, it's hard for them to care. And if they don't care, you can't forget about getting their best work. Number 10, use rubrics designed for quality, not for scoring. First, know the difference between a scoring guide and a rubric. Then design a rubric that actually supports students in learning more and doing their best work in the classroom. Number 11, let them see models from other students. This is not copying. While work from expert is useful in one way, work from peers can often have more credibility with some students. There are many reasons for this, from confidence to competitiveness to audience and self-efficacy. Just know that parents motivate students in one way, their peers another, teachers another, and so on. We all have different things that move us differently, different reason, and students are no different. Number 12, get out, get the school out of it and get out of the school. The more something smells like school, the less likely is to get the very genius from the student. That doesn't mean it's impossible, but students, especially by late junior high school into senior high school and college, think of school differently than teachers and parents do. The more personal and authentic reason for learning, the better the chance you'll see the very best performance from that students. Whether you're publishing in the real world, using a place-based education through a project-based learning, connecting a high school student with a university, a junior student with a content area expert, or any other reason, the more likely the work has legitimate reason to leave the school the more motivated many students can be to give their best. Number 13, I have five more. Break big ideas into small ideas. Take one of those big ideas and break it down into smaller pieces. This is often part of unpacking standards. The less overwhelming the work is, the more frequently students can work on these smaller bits, and that often end up as part of the fundamentals of the big ideas. The more likely the students will learn more than actually use what they have learned. Number 14, start with emotion. Make curiosity, joy, passion consistent currencies in your classrooms. Give them points for joy and passion. Don't like that approach? Model it. Praise it. Help students praise it when they see it in one another. Number 15. When possible, make design thinking an integral part of the assignment or task. Or at least make elements of design thinking impact critical parts of the assignment. You'll know that this is working when you see the same assignment produce very different results from different students. Number 16, this is very mandatory. It's use metacognition before, during, and after important assignments. You can ask this question: what are you thinking about the assignment? How did that thought make you feel? How did it remind you of? What do you do, when do you do your best kind of thinking in this situation? Number 17, help them care, get the attention of your students, and don't let it go. One better word from students: get their attention and keep it. Make it fun. Add music and video games. Go outside. Make it controversial somehow. Go outside. Note that this can backfire and distract from the whole point of the assignment. Use it intentionally and thoughtfully. Use the fun as the backdrop for the experience, not the other way around. And lastly, design learning to last, whether through a 40-40-40, PBL, place-based education. Design work for students that will last, something they will want to keep it for years, that will function in their family or community for years, that worth curating in a portfolio for college, etc. Honor them by giving them work that matters. So, on the sidetrack, so what is 40-40 rule? Means, okay, knowing what you want your students to remember for 40 days, what you want your students to remember for 40 months, and what you want your students to remember for 40 years. Or what you want your students to remember in 40 minutes, what do you want to remember your students to remember in 40 days, and what you want your students to remember in 40 years. That's rule 40-40-40. So, as a final takeaway for this episode, how can you be compassionate to your students? As teachers, we should know your students, develop our self-awareness, and practice self-love. So, this is all for now. Let's have another interesting discussion on models of teaching and learning only on ChaSpeaks. So please subscribe to this channel, like, and share your videos. Thank you again. This is your learning partner, Dr. Gonzalez. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat. Assalamualaikum.